Hey everybody, this is Are You Kristin, and I am here today with my third ever Daily Pages book for our flip through. Thank you so much for joining me. We're going to take a couple of seconds to let everybody get in here. I also have to open up this on the app so I can see all the things that y'all are saying. So let me open that up real quick, and we're going to talk today about this is my third ever Daily Pages book. So if you have not watched the first two live videos, you can go check those out. This book, I think I started this book September 1st-ish, 2018. The other one ended on August 31st, so we're gonna say September 1st. And go from there. So hi everybody, welcome. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. Normally we do this at about 2 o'clock Eastern, but today there was some Substack issues, so we had to postpone it a bit. So welcome. This is my third ever book. This is the book where I really started to feel like this was part of a bigger project. This book feels a little bit more cohesive. It feels like I had a bit of a style. It feels like I had a bit of a plan. There's a lot of stuff in this book that feels right for me. So let's dive into each of these pages. So normally, what I've started doing now is I date the front of my books. The first page of my book I date. Let me grab one that I can show you. I'll grab this one right here. This is May 7th, 2024. So I date the front page, I date the back page, which I forgot to do on this one. Oh, that's because I didn't finish this book. I wonder why I didn't finish this one. So this one, I should, glue those pages together. And normally, I date the front of the page, the front of the book, and I date the back of the book. This one I'm pretty sure I dated the back of. So I know that I finished this book on September 18th, 2018. Okay, so let's dive into these pages. So this is a book that has a lot of pictures in it. This is the first book where I actually started using a lot of my photography, and you can see a lot of these pages are a little bit more scrapbooky than some of the ones in the previous videos. So I've got a picture here, and I've got a sticker down here that says solidarity, independence, and liberation. So let's flip to the first page in this book. And this is, you can see even more photos. So I've got these are my favorite scrapbook alphabet stickers. I have so many of them. They don't make them anymore. They are completely discontinued. The whole company that made them does not exist anymore. So I hoarded them. And when the company went out of business, I made sure to buy extras in every color so that I would have a really good stash of my favorite things ever. And that is one thing that I will say. Hold on one second. It's a headache day, so I have to make sure to drink a lot of water. If you find yourself that you like a creative supply and you're really into that creative supply, stock up on it. Because especially in this American big box craft world, there are lots of companies that come and go, lots of companies that make things, and once they're gone, they're gone. So if you really like something like letter stickers, I highly recommend that you stock up on them, especially if they ever go on sale. So hi everybody. Hi, welcome. Hi Becca. Hi Kyrie. Hi Selena. Hi Bingo. Hi everybody. So this is the first book that really does feel like it's part of a bigger project. Like I had, an idea going into it from the beginning. So you can see I still got lots of these. So for those of you who have not been part of the scrapbooking world for the last 20 years, there was a big, I guess it's schism, whatever you want to call it. There was a big theme project scrapbooking thing that really was a huge deal about 10 or so years ago, 10, 15 years ago, called Project Life. And the whole idea was that you take pictures and then you take journaling cards and you put them into divided page protectors to make scrapbooking easier. It got a little crazy, and all the companies started making these 3x4 journaling cards. So I have drawers of 3x4 journaling cards from all different companies, all different places, all different things. And a lot of them are really good little quotes, and they're perfect for this notebook. So I have here a quote over on the left, and then I matched it up with this is a plastic sunshine embellish. You can see that it's shiny. And then I put a little yellow sticker in the middle that says, "Be the light." And I love that it has a little bit of texture. In these books, you can see I try to keep things pretty not bulky. In some of my other scrapbooks, like I don't know if I have one that I can grab right off the top of my head right here. I want to like show you how chunky some of my other scrapbooks can get. Yeah, I have some over here. Let me just grab a scrapbook from over here, and then I can show you that. So this is my Book of Me scrapbook from last year. And you can see right in there that like it only has like, let's do that. So you can see, there you go. You can see it only has like 10 pages, but they're all super thick. So I'll show you that real quick. As I literally just pour water all over my desk. That's okay. So this is my Book of Me. It has lots more. Let's move that over so you can see it. We'll zoom out a little bit. So this, in comparison, has lots of bulky letters, lots of bulky wood parts, things that have lots of interactivity. And that's because there's lots of room in here for those things. As opposed to my Daily Pages books, which I like to keep pretty flat. Let's go back now so you can see. There we go. I like to keep these pretty flat because they are notebooks. And a couple of things that I've learned, and you'll see once we get to the middle of this. Let's show you. The pages can start to, if you make them a little bit too bulky, the pages will tear at the staple. So this one like is not attached anymore. And I keep a rubber band in the middle of this so I can keep it together when it's stored. But that is the main reason why a lot of my daily pages are more flat than have a bunch of bulky scrapbook embellishments. So lots of photos in this one. I had tons of what I like to call orphaned photos, which are just photos that I took or printed out with a scrapbook layout or a mini book project in mind, and then I never wound up doing anything with them, whether it was because it was the leftover photo, I used all the other photos, or the story just never really manifested itself in a way that made sense for a scrapbook layout. So I've got tons. I mean, and now I have thousands of what I like to call orphaned photos. I literally have a stack right up here on my desk. These are some orphaned photos from a project that I did last year. This is an extra daily page. This is we were watching House, and this was an extra picture of there were tornadoes that went through this area about 15 miles east of us, and it looks like the whole side of the highway was just like taken out by wildfires. It was really, really stark. And it was just a very, short period of, short area on the highway because the tornadoes just zipped right through. So I have a lot of these orphaned photos, and it is really, really, really great to just stick them in here. Because we've all heard, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Fantastic. Sometimes you can just take a couple little extra words or phrases and direct those 1,000 words in a way that really helps you tell the story that you want to tell. So I could have just had this photo and not had anything, but instead I have this, this good morning, and then this stamp that says breakfast favorite. And immediately you know that this is something that I like to eat for breakfast. This mango juice, by the way, is absolutely incredible. It's from Costco, and it's just like one of those, it's so good. And then here is a page that's completely different. One of the other things that I realized while I was flipping through this before so I could write some notes to talk to you all about what themes that I noticed in this book were that I started using full page patterned paper. I started covering the whole side of a page with patterned paper that I really liked. This is where I started messing around and experimenting a little. This over here on the left was a new stamp set that I got, all about making your own little flower shop. So I stamped it and I played around, and this was the first time that I realized that daily pages as a place to experiment with my new supplies it was a gold mine. A lot of the times, especially when I was feeling burnt out, I would get new supplies and then I would feel like, how do I even put this? I would feel like I wasn't going to be good enough to make a thing with it. So it would kind of just stack up. My new supplies would just stack up on the side because I wasn't feeling creatively confident enough to move forward and play around with the new supplies. So once I really started this daily pages project, and once I remember making this page specifically, because this stamp set was very intimidating to me. Once I gave myself that space to play, to have because again, at this point, this was just like another little notebook. Who cares if something that I make in a tiny little notebook is ugly or isn't exactly the way that I want it to be on the first try? And I can't express to you enough how much my creative confidence grew through experimenting with the new supplies that I was getting. And giving myself both the space to play around with these new supplies and the space to use up some of these things that I love. So I'm going to show you this paper up close a little bit. There you go. And you can see that it has this really nice gold foil on it, and it feels special. This is the first time that I created a page where it really felt special. So super simple, super easy. Like, this definitely took me like a half an hour to do, but playing with supplies is how you get better. We somehow as adults always forget that the way that we teach kids how to do things is through play. So if you want to learn how to do things, learn how to play again. It will make learning easier. It will make being a beginner fun. And there's so much less pressure on yourself. And when you have a container like these daily pages notebooks, like any type of creative journal that you do, when you have this small container for yourself, it's so much easier to put more of yourself out there because it's just you and your notebook. It's not you, your notebook, and Instagram. It's not you, your notebook, and Facebook. It's not you, your notebook, and the big scrapbooks that you have on the family bookshelf. This is you having fun creatively, figuring out the kind of things that you like to use to tell your story. So some of the times I just have little notes in here. They're little jokes to myself, opportunity for growth. This is literally an opportunity for growth page for me. So this may not look like a lot to, if you just grabbed one of my books off the shelves and flipped to this page, it wouldn't be like, oh, this was a major turning point in Kristin's creative journey. But let me tell you, this was a major turning point in Kristin's creative journey. So we had this is just really fun, and you'll see lots and lots of ways that I play around and lots and lots of ways where I make things super simple. Like I told you before, I have, again, no joke, 1,000 of these cards would be that's a very conservative estimate on how many of these 3x4 journaling cards I have somewhere in my house. There are, I assume, multiple thousands of these journaling cards somewhere in my house. So I just use them as if they were little bits of pretty paper, little quote cards, little art prints, and they go in my notebook and they help me have a conversation with myself. So it's a nice reminder to flip through the book and hear that today is a great day to have a great day. It is. It's a great day to have a great day. And if you know me, you know that I'm not into like toxic positivity. So when you see the positivity in my notebooks, it is actually real and genuine, because there's going to be pages that are going to talk about how much life sucks. I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to a headache page pretty soon. And then we have lots of just very simple things. Lots of, again, me playing around with the different patterned papers that I have. I have been scrapbooking for a very long time, since I was quite literally a freshman in high school. So like a really long time. So I have collected a lot of things over the years. I was in college and I had my own job and money for the first time. play money for the first time in college when all the scrapbook stores were in their heyday. So I still have tons of stuff from working in the scrapbook stores, doing stuff for the magazines in the scrapbook stores. I still have tons of stuff, and it was really fun to pull a lot of that out and just enjoy the graphic design. Like, the graphic design of this patterned paper is amazing. The artichoke up here, the tomatoes, it's very me. It's very me. So, food. This is another picture. This is a picture of an art vending machine that we have at our local Whole Foods. You can put in, I'm pretty sure it's $3 in quarters, $2 in quarters. It's some amount of money in quarters. Oh no, it's $5. The quarter one is not at Whole Foods. The quarter one is somewhere else. I think the quarter one is on campus. I live right near Michigan State, so it's really nice to have a huge, massive university and all the cool things that happen at universities right down the street. And we get really cool stuff in our Whole Foods, like this $5 vending machine. So, this is a very, very simple, easy page for me. One of the things that I really liked doing was, these are like 4x6 pictures that I got printed, and then I just started gluing them in here as full page prints. I would trim off the edges. So this is a great way to use up the pictures that you have. I am not personally a Spartan. We came here so that my partner could do a program at Michigan State. So we do have Spartans in the house. East Lansing's a really great place to live. It's a really wonderful, wonderful human-centered place to live. So this is another not a morning person. So I love that I have little themes in here. You'll see lots of little themes throughout these books when I talk about them. This one is breakfast foods. I am not good at mornings. I have 2 overlapping headache disorders, and in the mornings, my headaches they can be brutal. They can just really knock everything out of me, which is actually why I do my daily pages live at sessions at noon, because that's about when I know that I'm going to feel the best of the day. So lots of little stories in here just about how it's nice to go get breakfast in the mornings when we have to be on the road. So that's a fun page. And then over here, you'll see more of this patterned paper on the left. This was I don't even know how much into the podcast this was. This was a few months into the podcast when we hit 150,000 downloads, and I thought that was a really fun and special thing to celebrate. So I've got that over there on the page. I added a podcast sticker with our first ever podcast logo. And just, not every story needs to have massive amounts of journaling. If you only have 5 minutes a day, if you only have 10 minutes a day, if you only have 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever you can do in those limited amount of time, it's better than nothing. And you will learn, your skill level in doing this creative journaling, you're going to level up. So, like, let me show you, where is it? I'm going to show you my page for today that I made. And we'll talk about how in the same time period, like, these are the pages that I'm making today. These are the pages that I've been making the last few days. And I'm painting all of these backgrounds, like, day of. Like, I'm getting out there. I'm making these pages a little too high. All right. Let's figure out why my video is not having a good time. And let me pause this real quick. Alrighty, sorry about that. Let's hold this real quick. Oh, there we go. We are back. I am so sorry about that. Let's zoom in and finish up. So, this is the page for the podcast. 150,000 downloads. Great. Another page about football and no sleeps left until the football season. If you hang around with me, you'll hear all about my complicated relationship with American football and toxic masculinity and the American institution, and you'll see a lot of it in my pages. And then you'll also see little labels, and I love these labels, and I just wanted to create a gallery wall of labels. I love gallery walls. They're just so awesome. So this is this middle of the page where it kind of broke. So you can see I've got another one of those journaling cards and a little tag over here. 5 things I love: thinking, figuring thing out, stories, creating, understanding. Doesn't have to be like super deep. And then you can have more photos, more great stuff over here. And just super simple, easy embellishments. So this is the start of Currently Mondays. This is where it all began. This is where my Currently obsession, well, I started doing Currently, I showed you guys earlier those 3x4 journaling cards. I started doing Currently in 2012 so that I could get some more really quick thoughts into my bigger scrapbooks. And over the years, when I stopped making my huge 12x12 scrapbooks, I moved my Currently list into here on Mondays. So I do a Currently Monday, and I do them every single Monday this now. So I've got hundreds and hundreds of these, and these are some of my favorite things to look back on over the years. This is my 9/11 page, and I grew up in North Jersey, so that's where I was sophomore year of high school. This is a very simple, easy page. Got that patterned paper background, some simple washi tape that I got, some really fun letters, just like begging for a routine. I just really need routine. Lots more little note pages to myself. This was a time where I definitely finished this book in less than 30 days. Now I usually do 1 page a day, move on Monday through Friday, and I have a real good routine. During this 3rd book, I was still building this process up. But I love this book in particular. We talked a little bit about how this was when I started using supplies that I really like, supplies that I was a little bit more precious. This is one of my favorite field notes. It's a coastal edition field notes. So this is all embossed with foil, and this is the West Coast edition. And it has these really pretty green and blue gradient plus sign grid, and it's really one of my absolute favorite backgrounds possible. So here's another page with some patterned paper and talking about migraines. My migraines are hormonal, so that's why you see the little moon up there. Little notes to myself. Again, these are just like kind of inside jokes to myself that I write in my creative journal. And jokes don't have to be in English prose. They can come in all sorts of forms, including little moon stickers. All right, so the last couple of pages in this book were from a little trip to Chicago. So I had a old patterned paper that was designed around the idea of Chicago architecture. So I pulled that out and I used those. So we saw a dinner and a show in Chicago. And then this is another picture of, or another patterned paper with the Chicago city map and just a little bit more of very simple, very easy. Like, it's really nice to remember, like, hey, dinner and a show in Chicago. I don't need to write 3 paragraphs about what it was. It was just fun to be there. And the bigger stories, the bigger things, the more important stuff, they all go in my bigger scrapbooks and my chronological things where I'm actually documenting all of my stories in my life. But this book is for play. This book is to have fun. This book is to show up and make it easier to be a creative human. So I've got a currently list. I added in, a fun little star that was on my desk. And to finish up this book, this last page that I've got here, this is from a botany textbook that I got over at the Michigan State Surplus store, which is like one of the best places on the planet, quite literally. And then another little sticker. You can see that I had that sticker sheet on my desk from this same page from up here. So I had this sticker set on my desk this month that I was making this, and just allowing myself to use my supplies in a way that works for me. So I finished this book in less than a month, which meant I created more pages than just the 1 per day. And I know now that my next book doesn't actually start until the middle of February of 2019. So I took the whole fall off from making stuff in these books. I was making a lot of stuff in other places. And then in February, after the January chaos of the beginning of the year, I went back to creating this. And so the next book, next Tuesday at 2 p.m., we'll pick up with my fourth book, which is going to be February 2019. So thank you guys so much for being here. If you have any questions, please shoot me a DM and ask, or leave a comment below, anything at all. And thank you guys so much for being here. And I hope that you have an absolutely fabulous rest of your Tuesday. And I shall see you again next week. Bye, friends.